Welcome everyone to the 14th annual APRU Global Health Conference. I'm delighted to be here along with your host from Fudan University. So let's get started. I would like to introduce you to the Vice President of Fudan University, Chen Tremuen. Professor Chen is Vice President of Fudan University, Shanghai, China. He is a Chengjiang Scholar and a Jean Monnet Chair of European Foreign Policy. He is a member of the steering committee of the Paris Peace Forum and chairs the International Politics Committee of Chinese Higher Education Association. His research interests include international relations theory, diplomacy studies, Chinese foreign policy, and EU studies. So please join me in welcoming Vice President Chen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Melissa Withers. Good morning to all the friends and colleagues from this side of the Pacific Ring, and also good evening to all the friends and colleagues from the eastern side of the Pacific Ring countries. I'm very delighted to co-chair the opening event of this 2020 APRU Global Health Conference, which is a very important one, with Dr. Melissa Withers. Dr. Melissa Withers, as most of you have known, that she is the current APRU Global Health Program Director. She now, as an associate professor, teaches at the University of Southern California Institute for Global Health, where she teaches global health-related courses and also research on global reproductive health and women's empowerment, and other topics like community participatory research, cultural competency, border migrants, refugee health, and how culture influences health-seeking behavior. As the director of the APRU Global Health Program, Melissa has done a great job in the program designing and also the organization of this year's annual conference. So thank you very much, and back to you.
Thank you so much, Vice President Chen, and welcome. I'm really delighted to say that we have more than 1,600 participants. So welcome to you from Malaysia, Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam, Mexico, Philippines, Australia, New Zealand, and many countries outside of the Pacific Rim in Africa, as well as even Nepal, Fiji, Bangladesh, and many more. I am delighted as the program director to welcome you all. The APRU Global Health Program is based at the University. You'll be hearing more about the APRU network and about the program later. Please share the information about this conference. We'll put the social media information in the chat. I'm very sorry that we can't be together in person this year. I was looking forward to going back to China and seeing all of the wonderful colleagues there. But we do have a very interesting conference planned. And one of the benefits of hosting a virtual conference is that we have the opportunity to welcome colleagues from around the world. This conference touches on topics such as migration, aging, women's health, the life course, universal health coverage, women's health, and of course, COVID-19. I am so excited because one of my personal heroes, Dr. Margaret Chan, is our keynote speaker for today. I wanted to remind you before we get started on that, that you do have the opportunity to ask questions during this conference through the Q&A. So put any questions you have into the Q&A box and we'll be moderating those. Throughout the conference, we'll also be doing some polls, so get ready for a more interactive experience. I'd also like to remind you that we are asking you to vote on two really important student competitions. The first one is our student poster contest. We're asking you to look at 7 posters and judge the winner of the undergraduate and graduate categories. They each receive a US $500 prize. And also our case competition. This was a virtual case competition on elderly care. We had 45 teams from 22 universities in 12 different economies participating. So you have the information on how to view those videos and how to vote during the next couple of days. Please also check the conference program for more information on the speakers and moderators and all of the activities we have going on in the program. I would like to thank Fudan University, our hosts, for all of the efforts you have put together so far in offering this conference, as well as the APRU Secretariat for all of their hard work. Now, I would like to go ahead and introduce a welcome from Dr. Lee Jin. Dr. Lee Jin is an academician of Chinese Academy of Science, Executive Vice President, and the Dean of Shanghai Medical College, Fudan University. Also the Director of the Human Phenome Institute and the external member of the Max Planck Society. He has systematically investigated the genetic diversity of human population. So please, Dr. Jin, over to you. Stand by just for a second. I think they're opening up their cameras and speakers. Okay, maybe we should skip and we'll come back to Dr. Jin in a moment. But let me go ahead then and introduce the Secretary General of APRU, and this is Dr. Chris Tremuen. Dr. Tremuen was elected as APRU's 4th Secretary General, and he took up the role in June of 2011. Before heading the APRU International Secretariat, he was the Vice President's Pro Vice Chancellor of the University of Auckland in New Zealand. In 1995, he became the founding director of the New Zealand Asia Institute, which he led until 1999. Previously, he held positions as a senior consultant, executive secretary, and research director for international development organizations based in Hong Kong, Singapore, and Tokyo. He's a specialist on social regulation in Southeast Asia, and his research has recently focused on the internationalization of higher education. So thank you so much to the Secretary General, Dr. Tremuen, for welcoming us.
Thank you so much, Melissa. It's a great pleasure to be here and to hear so many people are engaged in this webinar. It's a wonderful success for the Global Health Program. And I want to start by expressing my thanks to Fudan University again, President Xu Sheng and also Deputy Director Tang Wenqing for their support for this, but particularly for Executive Vice President Chin Lee and Vice President International Chen, from whom we've heard already. It's wonderful to have your support and your engagement with this webinar and this program and this conference. And it's a great pity we couldn't be with you all in Shanghai, but we will do that as soon as we can. It is my task and pleasure in acknowledging the Global Health Program as one of our most active and successful programs under Dr. Withers' leadership at the University of Southern California. It's my pleasure just to make a few comments about APRU for those of you who are not familiar with us. And so we are a network of leading universities around the Pacific Rim, the Americas, Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, and Australia and New Zealand. And there are 56 leading research universities which are the members, and you can see them there on your screen. And we have a high level of interaction amongst our members. They're not just nominal members. We are working very strongly together across a wide range of activities. And of course, at the moment, we are addressing the particular crisis that we're all experiencing. Around the Pacific Rim, we normally experience many common issues, but this issue is covering the globe, of course. And so we have initiatives in crisis management. We brought together all the research resources that our members have and the depth of their research on everything from the medical side to sociology and so on, and the public policy issues. And then, of course, many webinars and competitions which engage our members and share experience and knowledge. And I encourage you to go to that website there on our screens, apruplus.org, to see some of those activities. Just to give you a sense of our priorities and how we arrange our programs, we have a whole lot of work on shaping higher education in the Asia Pacific, as you would expect with research universities, to do with higher education policy and also leadership. So then that brings us to the second priority, which is creating global student leaders. And it's something that the Global Health Program is very good at, and we do it in a number of other areas as well. The third major priority is solving Asia Pacific challenges, and I'll go into that on the next slide. But the fourth dimension there, which has just got a lot of pictures, shows you that we are fully engaged in international public policy. We bring the strength of our universities to bear collectively in the international public policy space. And as a political scientist, it's something that I'm very interested in, and the way in which our world is changing rapidly, and the difficulties of collaborating now across various borders. APRU is a neutral platform where we can all work together on these major issues. If I come to the programs on Asia Pacific challenges, you can see there the main areas in which we have our programs. Asia Pacific women and leadership, digital economy, particularly focusing on AI and social good or the transformation of work and so on. Global health, which we are now talking about in this webinar, and the many aspects of that program. Multi-hazards, which as we are around the Pacific Ring of Fire, we all deal with earthquakes, tsunamis, floods, and volcanoes, and now we deal with climate change, making these extreme events much worse. The future of the Pacific Ocean, a third to a half of the Earth's surface, is what keeps us alive, and we are doing a lot on that. As has been mentioned already, population aging is another area, sustainable cities and landscapes, and sustainable waste management, all things which are engaging our universities and our societies around the region. We do this work with many partners, and some of them are listed on your screen, and there are many others, and we're grateful to them for working with us. It remains for me to thank you all for joining with us in this webinar, and to wish everyone the most successful program, and to thank Dr. Margaret Chan and other distinguished speakers and participants for joining with us, as well as you all who are watching. Thank you so much. Back to you, Melissa.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tremuen. It's wonderful to have you here. And we'll go back to Vice President Chen now.
Yeah, So, Vice President Jing Li's your welcome speech on behalf of Fudan University.
We're glad to be back again. And dear APRU Global Health experts, guests, colleagues, and the students, on behalf of Fudan University, it is our great pleasure and honor to host the 14th APRU Global Health Conference 2020 in Shanghai, China. I'm glad to welcome you to participate in this virtual conference, and I would like to express my gratitude to all of you for your kind support. And this conference was intended to be held in Shanghai to bring experts and scholars together and focus on the discussions of universal healthcare across the life course. And unfortunately, as we know, the COVID-19 pandemic, which is the current global health emergency, has made it impossible for us to assemble physically in Shanghai. So we therefore can see that a resilient healthcare system is essential for health security. The world needs to collaborate to make joint decisions now more than ever. And indeed, this is what APRU platform is aiming to do. While we regret being unable to gather physically this fall as we expected, we believe that the challenges we face will not hinder our cooperation. And we sought to meet more frequently and work more closely with each other to share evidence, experiences, and lessons more than ever before. In addition to strategies for the COVID-19 pandemic throughout the world, we must also attach great importance to intensify on other policy initiatives that have been demonstrated to benefit billions of people, like universal healthcare. Fudan University is a comprehensive research-oriented university, and the Shanghai Medical College of Fudan University, formerly an independent Shanghai Medical College, is one of the oldest and the most prestigious university or medical schools in China. As the host of APRU Global Health Conference 2020, Fudan University has always been investing in global health in the last decades. And the global health has played an integral role in the medical science system at Fudan University. Fudan's global health program was initiated in 2005 with the first planning grant from Fogarty International Center, National Institute of Health in USA. Fudan Global Health Institute, FGHI, was established in 2012, aiming to develop a think tank for global health innovative strategies for intervention, technology, and policy for global community. FGIHI's work covers many developing countries in Asia and Africa, including education, capacity building, research, and intervention programs. We also established global health centers in Cambodia and Tanzania to serve as the bridge for capacity building, research, and collaborations. Now, looking to the future, Fudan University would like to advocate the following principles. First, support multidisciplinary innovations, research and development, technology transfer, and applications in the area of global health. Second, apply global health into clinical and public health practices in the centers of excellence, primary health settings, and the public health facilities in low and middle income countries. Third, assist the global health experts for informing policymakers for universal health coverage across life courses. And the fourth, engage with APRU to strengthen leadership competences in the healthcare sectors, for example, medical humanities and ethics. Although it has been expected for years, we are not able to host the APRU Global Health Conference 2020 physically in Shanghai due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Nonetheless, thanks to the countless efforts of APRU and the School of Public Health of Fudan University, we now have the opportunity to present scientific contributions and encourage discussions for the conference in the online way. An ancient Chinese poem says, "A bosom friend afar brings a distant land near." Indeed, this virtual conference has brought all of us together today. Fudan University is thrilled to host all of you, and also will continue to support APRU by all means necessary. And I hope we will be able to host a physical gathering in the near future. Shanghai always welcomes you. So in the end, I wish this conference a great success, and I wish you to have a joyful and a fruitful experiences. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, and Dr. Chris Tremuen and Professor Jing Li for both of your leadership in making this year's virtual conference possible.